Hey, Lowco sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Lowco Diamond Dudes. I am Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr and Ned Mullis. And we're going to talk baseball and softball in the Lowco and out and beyond, because we're talking a little bit about college baseball and softball regionals. We got 3 regionals taking place in South Carolina for baseball, which is very exciting. And we've got a player on one of those teams as well. So we'll talk a little bit about Darren Horn in Coastal Carolina later on. And then later in the second half of the show, we've got old friend of mine and Mullis's, Jeannie Murphy, used to be the May River softball coach and was my colleague at USCB, now the director of operations for Clemson softball. She's going to join us in the second half of the show, talk about that great run they had. They had Oklahoma, her alma mater, on the ropes and let it get away. But it was good stuff. But how you fellas doing? We got a little bit of high school news to get to in a bit, but you guys holding up all right? I know you're missing high school baseball.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting these last few days. I mean, it seems like I've been out covering baseball, softball, something every day, and all of a sudden it comes to a halt, and now you're thinking of other things to do because it's definitely leaves a hole after going to so many events each night over in the spring sports playoffs. But just reflecting on what a great season it was on the baseball side, I could not get enough of especially the 105 baseball team and that Patrick Henry team who made some incredible runs. Some great teams on the softball side as well. It was a fantastic spring, and miss it already. It was a great high school baseball and softball season, but at the same time, really looking forward to these next few weeks when you get into when the kids, the younger kids take the stage, and some of the youth baseball tournaments here, Dixie Youth and beyond, where you get to see some of the up and coming stars play some tournament baseball.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a ton of fun. And, some of my killer whales will be playing in the softball district. So I hope to be able to get out and check them out a little bit. It's great fun. We were down there at Oscar Frazier for Waves batting practice last night. And, all the all-star softball teams are out there hitting and practicing, and some of the baseball teams too. So it's exciting to see them getting ready. I'll tell you what, Bluffton's going to have a good 8U, the 8U softball girls. Oh boy, they can swing it. They were looking good in the cage last night. So there's some talent coming. But Mullis, I know you're catching up, man. You've been scrambling. You took too much downtime coaching baseball. So maybe you're missing it for a different reason because you got to work now.
Oh yeah, got to do my job to do my hobby. The fun thing about this, and just listening to a lot of people, or talking, having people come up and talk to us about the podcast and stuff. I love that. And we got some time now to talk about the summer travel season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this town that are invested in this, and, it's here now. And,
yep.
Those guys are getting ready to get knee deep in it. And I hope we can touch on that kind of moving forward and see how some of the guys, because the guys you're going to be watching on the high school fields next year, this is where they start taking that step to be able to really compete, at the next level is during the summer.
Yeah. Shane's team had a good run.
The biggest thing
up at PBR.
One of the best things about it is one of the hardest things that people don't understand about high school baseball is you're not 16U anymore. You're 18U, depending ever how old you are. Yeah. You're playing against grown men in a lot of cases. If you saw Greer and those guys, but you get to kind of slide right back into your own comfort zone during the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, I think these guys get a little bit of the confidence back and get a little bit of their swagger back. And, and if they had a good year, they just carry straight on in. I know.
Yeah.
If you didn't, how do you reset as a player? Just have that mindset, like get that fresh start and this new opportunity to maybe go against guys, boys or girls similar to your own age bracket.
Oh yeah, it's what do we laugh about? Just in NAIA Sunday, everybody gets right.
Yeah.
You start seeing some of those. You start seeing some arms you can handle. But that goes two ways. I was just talking to some of our guys that are going to some of these elite, some of the dudes we do, see around town, going to some of these elite things, these showcases or what have you, the perfect game stuff or the Space Coast stuff, or when y'all go up to Cooperstown.
Yeah.
You know what comes with these elite tournaments? Elite arms.
Arms.
So you need to know that. I mean, and I don't care what level you're playing, good pitching beats good hitting every time.
Yeah.
And, you just hope the guys, understand and kind of just go in there and battle and try to work those guys out. And,
we're trying to get them in the mindset right now, less than a month out from Cooperstown, get them in the mindset of attacking pitches you can hit, because you're not going to get a whole lot of them. But if you put the barrel on some of these guys who are running it up there at, 70 plus from 54 feet, you can run one out of the yard pretty easily if you get behind it. So we're trying to get them just really, attacking good pitches, understanding that at this level, guys are going to be able to hit spots. They're going to be able to get you out when they get you behind the count.
And the options,
so you got to be able to take a hack early in the count when you get a chance.
The options that kids have right now locally are the best they've been.
Yeah.
I was telling you guys when we started this thing, my son was 8. Travel baseball was just really starting to take hold.
Mm-hmm.
That was 10, 12 years ago now. You had the options. You had the same kind of number of teams. I'm not sure you still had the same.
Yeah.
There wasn't an SEB. There wasn't a 5-star. There wasn't,
Rising
Clutch
tides.
wasn't Clutch. Whoever they are. You can start. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Right. Everybody's kind of raised their game a little bit.
Absolutely. And are partnered with a national organization or something like that. So, and the coaching's better.
Shoot, we're going over to Savannah this weekend, and just we're playing in the AAA division. There's a robust AA division that'll be competitive too. But in the AAA division, man, it's going to be tough, like really tough. We could easily go 0-3 and be done. We could also go 4-0 and win the thing, I think. But there's like a pretty good group of pretty high caliber teams around here that you don't have to go as far as you used
and
to.
At some point, I think we need to kind of delve into the pros and cons of all this.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here talking about how the kids are going to get better this summer. Well, you can get better on that football field too.
Yeah.
You can get better playing travel basketball too.
Yep.
I still think every one of these kids, I know, and I kind of want to touch on this all year, but it's a baseball podcast. Well, part of being, one of my favorite sayings, Justin, we got a lot of ball players, but what level athlete are you?
Yeah.
Are you a D1 athlete? Let me give you 2 perfect examples of this. Carmen Majinski was as good a hitter as y'all are going to see come through this place.
Yeah.
And he didn't he didn't swing a bat. He had the nickname Carjack for a reason. He could hit. But he didn't swing a bat at Carolina, but he was an athlete on that mound. Darren Horn could swing it.
Mm-hmm. He could play pretty good third base too.
He could play third base, Darren. Yep. He kind of, graduated on into not caring as much about that infield spot when he knew where he was going.
Right.
Those guys, and don't forget how good a basketball player Darren Horn was. Darren could light it up. And, he could shoot.
James Lehman.
James Lehman.
Could light it up.
James would battle your tail off.
Yeah.
And, I think if you held James down, he'd tell you he liked basketball better than baseball.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he had more fun playing basketball than he did playing baseball. But he was just, and I go back to this all the time, and I don't want to ramble, but I love it. The guys are back in town.
Yeah.
When
they show back up, it's just it's
one of my favorite things about this job is just, covering these kids, seeing them come back, talk to them during a game, and just getting to, hear what they've been up to and their journey. It's really cool to see them and see them care.
Yeah, James is
the younger guys. We saw Jan Allen. This is football related, but it's kind of the same thing. Jan Allen coming back, former favorite football player, coming to talk to some of the kids on the squad right now.
I saw Gaston a couple weeks ago. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. When Gaston Moore was 12 years old, he threw a baseball as hard as anybody you've ever seen.
I bet.
So, I mean, it wasn't, that dude dealt pretty good.
Yeah. Well, let's get back on track a little bit here, fellas. I love the banter. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Mullis bringing up good talking points that we'll dive into as we go forward this summer. But we did want to shout out some all-state picks from the high school league side. Just one baseball player, Tyson Brasington from May River, made the list. And then on the softball side, Alyssa Rose and Katie Ryan from Bluffton, and Shandy Ryan from Colleton County, and then Kylie Rass from Beaufort High. So great representation on the softball side. Wes, you noted here who was snubbed. I don't know enough about the other people on the list to say who was snubbed necessarily, but certainly some people that you thought might be on that list. I thought Brad Larson had a phenomenal year at the plate and helped them out in the mound as well.
Yeah, what did he end up hitting?
Like something crazy. I've got it somewhere. It's crazy. It's well over 500, I believe.
Yeah,
maybe over 600. It was crazy high.
What do they always say? You hit what's the home run thing? You hit 500 home runs, you get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Thing. You hit 500, you ought to have a spot on that damn All-State team.
It kind of feels like it. I do have his
man.
stats here. Oh, he only hit 474. So
okay, well, bring it up 20.
And
20
Will Korn hit 484, and he didn't make it either, right? So Brad Larson had 45 hits. That is just insane.
Didn't Tyson have something crazy like that too? Though he had a.
I don't have Tyson's full stats.
Tyson had an unbelievable amount of hits.
I know he hit like over 600 in region.
In the region.
But it's cool to see those two-way stars, guys, because he was doing on the mound to do it on both ways. That's even at this level, it's still a big accomplishment. And how much because at the high school level, you got more guys playing like two-way, pitching and hitting. So kind of how do you?
Yeah.
I don't think you have an option. There's not. You don't have the depth. I mean, you've got dudes. Like I went back earlier. I mean, your dudes are going to be. I mean, if you've got these big dog pitchers, like that kid from James Island. I mean, God Almighty, he was a dude too. I mean, he played center field. Looked like I mean, he was pretty slick out there.
Yeah.
And he could swing and he let off for him. I mean, but that's. I don't think you have too many. You're going to have you don't have too many specialized pitchers at the high school level. You'll run across one every now and then. Well, I'll tell you, Justin, it's trending more that way.
Yeah.
But they're not the top of your 3, 4, 5 guys are going to be more specialized.
Right. Yeah.
But your 1, 2 guys I still think they'll be your best athletes.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I see. Usually the guy who's in center field on Saturday is the guy who's pitching on Sunday. And
you'll see that shortstop pitch.
The shortstop and the center fielder are going to pitch at some point, and it's not going to be fun.
Well, you look at the Camarella kid from Clemson. He was an all-state shortstop last year. Now he's their center fielder. College coaches don't
you recruit as many shortstops as you can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They want 5 of them.
Well, because a lot of times the guy's not playing shortstop because he's a shortstop. He's playing shortstop because he's the best shortstop that you got. And,
that's exactly right.
You got to start there and build around that. So, you're going to see guys recruit 3 shortstops, and that'll be their second, third, and shortstop, and then 3 more, and that'll be their 3 outfielders if possible.
You know the old saying on that, don't you?
What's that?
One of them's going to eat their way to third.
Yeah. Dang right. One of them will, have a rotator cuff injury that sends them to second. And
and then the fast one's going to center.
It'll sort itself out eventually. But so on the softball side, though, great representation over there. Happy to see Shandy make it. She's just you want to talk about athletes. That kid, every sport, she is just a game changer. Alyssa had a monster year hitting. And did yeoman's work pitching for them when they didn't have a pitcher. Katie was dynamo, and then Kylie Rast, of course, was probably the most dominant 2-way softball player in the area, I would say. So great to see them all recognized there.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see Kylie Rast at a bomb. Didn't get to see her pitch this year, but when she went to Hilton Head, I just was am really impressed by her approach to the plate and just her swing. The power that she puts into that swing, and man, she's the real deal for Buford High. I just remember, talking with her parents these last few years about, the way she's been able to improve, and I think it's really all gone the way she's wanted it to, and it's become a heck of a star there for the Eagles. And then, man, those Bluffton kids, I mean, though that group of seniors, something special. We had you interviewed them a couple of weeks ago in the dugout. That was priceless stuff, just to see. Not just, I mean, they're talking about their skill, but their expertise in terms of navigating through the college process, and just their overall demeanor, and humbleness and love for the game. It's something special. And got to see Alyssa Rose hit a home run as well for Bluffton. Really impressed with what she brought to the table, and now I get to see her play for the USCB Sand Sharks, which is really fun for me, especially after covering these last few years. And then Katie Ryan, also another sensational senior. And then Shandy Brown, great to see one of these Carleton County players recognized, because they had a monster year, especially at plate. And Shandy Brown, talk about a high-level athlete who will just bring that extra level of determination, whether it's on the basketball courts or on the softball field. And she has quite a strong mentality when it comes to stepping up at the plate and find a way to get on base and move runners over. And I think you could pick a couple of those Carleton County players.
Yeah, they were an ensemble for sure. But, I mean, Michaela Chisholm was terrific too.
You kind of have to pick them in as a set, because they kind of operated seamlessly together. It was a team effort there for Carleton, but Shandy Brown, a great pick to represent what was a great, fantastic Cougars team to watch.
And I think the snub here is obvious. Casey Lang. I mean, I would have had her in there. She struggled a little bit at the plate at the end of the year. I think they found some things that she'll need to work on at the next level. But man, she was just fear. She struck fear into your heart. Like she takes some big old hacks, and people pitched around her and did a good job of making somebody else beat her, and that made her a little less effective. But
I think as she got better, the team got better as well.
Yes.
I think a lot of different players on that Carleton or on the May River team kind of, rose up to the level that she was at. And when she was having her struggles sometimes in the playoffs, we saw some other girls on that team step up and get the job done. A couple of dramatic come from behind wins in that postseason for May River. And so, obviously Brown was Langley a huge part of that, but you just see the journey of this team and some other guys being able to kind of find that spark as well when her teammate went down or her teammate was struggling. So, it's just it takes an ensemble of talent to win on the baseball field. We saw that with Carleton County. We saw that now here with May River. But Lang had a sensational season. Really enjoyed watching that. May River team is all in this region. You look at Carleton County, look at May River. Obviously, you got Bluffton with some talented players. Hilton had certainly been more of a rebuild after losing a generational talent, if you will, with Reagan Marchand, who, all around one of the best hitters we've seen come through the program in a while, but not to take away from Delcy Swift, who had a great year and is going to play at the next level. So all in all, a terrific year for softball, so much talent, and great to see some of our homegrown players stick around here in the Lowco to play at the college level.
It's the beauty of baseball and softball. You're only, as a hitter, a lot of times you're only as good as that guy behind you or that girl behind you.
Yep.
And, you don't know why Tyson hit 600. Hey, Willie Corn had a lot to do with that.
There's a left-handed animal in the on-deck circle.
Tyson's seeing a little bit of stuff to hit, because he's got, you don't really want to go to walking those guys.
Nope.
Brad Larson saw a lot to hit because Jakey was sitting right there behind him. Jakey swinging a little bit.
Yep.
It's not throwing anything. There was, you got to have a little protection.
Yep. Yep, and I think you're absolutely right there, Wes. That team grew up a lot, and the difference at the end was they were pitching around Casey to try to make somebody else beat them, and on many occasions somebody else did. They
Yeah.
stepped
Oh
up and did
yeah.
it. So that team grew up a ton, and
Hey,
I
where did
think
that girl from
program's on
Hilton Head
solid
from
footing.
last year go, Wes?
Marshall,
She's at
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
Is
Yeah.
she up there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
God,
she
they had a
redshirted
good
this
year.
season. I think she redshirted this season, but yeah,
But that's a program on the rise.
absolutely. She can really swing it too. Man, she can really swing it. But all right, well, guys, let's talk a little bit about the NCAA regionals. The softball regionals wrapped up, so we're heading into supers now with that. Or no, they played the supers, right? And now they're into the World Series getting started, and then
softball's
NCAA,
World Series this week.
Yeah, they're into the World Series. Baseball into the regionals. We got regionals at Carolina, Clemson, and Coastal Carolina, including Darren Horn playing for Coastal. So I know, Mullis, this is your Christmas.
Love
NCAA
it.
baseball.
My favorite time of year.
Give us the
it's
primer.
even better than March Madness because you think of the level that basketball gets to, but when you're watching this first weekend of college baseball, there's just so many more high pressure moments in a ball game like this, and you just get a lot more games because you lose twice. So it's one of the best times to be a college sports fan. That Friday night, first afternoon evening of regionals is one of the best days on the calendar, and I'm sure you agree with me, Mullis.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you just take that one regional up there. You just look at the regionals we've got in the state. You've got Coastal and Ryder. Now I don't know a lot about Ryder, but they ain't lost a whole lot of games. And I mean, they didn't back in. It ain't like Tulane with 40 losses. Duke's good. If you've got Duke as a 2 seed, it's a tough regional. And UNC Wilmington, they've been good for years. That's a tough regional, and that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Darren and them are going to have to pitch their way through that thing. And but the thing about Coastal is, they're coming in pretty hot. I mean, they hit all the way through that tournament. So, and Coastal can bang with you. And I think there'll be a little bit of sentimental thing with Gilmore announcing he's going to retire next year. I think you'll get a little. I think that was a well-timed. I think two things on that being well-timed. The assistant coach there, Schnall, the guy that everybody, the head coach in waiting, he came from Central Florida, and that job's open. So, I think that was I thought it was a well-timed thing on probably shielding him from Central Florida a little bit and probably give them a little juice going into the playoffs. Old Gilly, he's pretty smart on.
Do you like Coastal's chances to get through this regional?
I think they'll get. Yeah, I do. I don't know, man. Duke's been a little disappointing. It's been a weird thing with Duke. I don't know as much as I can't really tell. I mean, they've been streaky, but when I watched Duke play, it was against Clemson, and Clemson killed them. But Clemson's been killing everybody. So I don't really want to throw too much off on Duke right now. Who is Coastal line up with if they do go to who are they with across the bracket?
They would be with Virginia,
Miami and those guys.
The Charlottesville.
That's right, UVA.
They're paired with that
Charlottesville for the Super.
That's right, because I told Darren the other night, as long as it didn't turn into a spelling bee, I felt pretty good about it.
Oh boy! So they're match up with.
I'm especially excited for the Columbia Regional. That group of 4 teams. I mean, South Carolina, Campbell, NC State, Central Connecticut State. You never know. But I think those first 3 all have a legitimate shot to win this regional. Campbell, I mean, maybe
Campbell should have been hosting
in the country. I mean, absolutely ran through their conference, won their conference tournaments.
Let's pump the brakes on Campbell.
That offense has been a machine.
They're good.
They're
but
second
I guarantee
nation runs scored.
Your Wolfpack's showing.
I guarantee you, and I don't care what team from North Carolina is looking at it, they're still Campbell.
Yeah.
Don't tell me NC State ain't looking at that game saying,
Campbell,
really? I mean, you're a 2 seed over us. Hey, it's still an upset when Campbell midweek state.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these teams, until I see them go now, like I said, you can make a run in a regional. Campbell had a nice little run in that regional, with Tennessee and them. But they still got beat, and it's still Campbell. But they're, you look at those guys, though. I saw Mercer play last year. They remind me a lot of Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And those are big guys. They are not little people. And it'd be interesting to see. And that coach, they are very dedicated to the weight room, and hell, they have a traveling weight room travel with them. They bring it in a trailer. And these guys are, they recruit to that, they play to that. Gamecock's got some guys coming back. I know they kept some guys out for the tournament last week. So I'd like to have been a fly on the wall up there at Founders Park this week, because I bet there were some pretty spirited live at bats this week.
Do you expect to see some rust for some of those players coming back?
That's what I can guarantee you saw. I bet some of the best baseball you're going to see played this week's already happened this week in Columbia. I guarantee you those guys are seeing some live ABs off some red shirt guys, some guys, they're if there's an arm up there, they're throwing at somebody this week.
Getting it ready. And then the Clemson Regional, you going up, Mullis?
No, I'm going to stay here this week. It's just too much good stuff.
Eyes on the TV instead.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Watch a lot more from home.
And let me tell you, I'll bring it up with Jeannie in a little bit. I went up there 2 weeks ago when they had their regional. That place is a zoo. And that was for softball.
Yeah.
It
you got the Vols. You got the Vols coming in too. So those people, they travel and they.
I talked to Wilson this morning, and the Vols are already in town, and he said they are. He said he wasn't sure it wasn't the football team that came.
Yeah. So if you aren't afraid of orange, you will be.
Wilson said their batting practice was very impressive. He said it was. He said they take a. He said, Dad, they take a real batting practice.
Yeah,
I want to see how the Charlotte team does in this tournament.
Charlotte
won five games in 4 days to get the auto bid to get into this NCAA tournament. So, playing with house money, they got a talented outfielder in Cam Fisher. Don't count out that Charlotte team, but I do think this is Clemson's regional.
They beat Carolina twice. Got a good coach. That's a North Carolina guy. I'm really not going to say too much about him. No, he's a good dude. They do it right. Charlotte, that's one of them sleeping giants, man. You get the right place in UNC Charlotte. Look out.
All right, so let's go on the spot here. Coastal gets through the regional. Do they get through the Super?
They go to UVA. That's tough.
That's
tough. Getting out of there.
Tough. I don't know about
That's
that.
going to be a tough one.
All right. So,
but look at UVA. Hey, who's to say UVA is going to win that thing?
That's the thing. Right. They got to play Oklahoma.
Look, hey, too. By the way, the old Pirates are pretty good, boys. ECU will
they're very good.
That to me is the hardest regional up there, because Army is good. Army's good. Army is a good team. And, Army always, if you watch Army, they always knock somebody off in one of these things. They always do. They might, whoever, you watch that losers bracket, if they lose to UVA Friday, watch that. They'll knock somebody off Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a great regional. But all right, fellas. Well, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with Jeannie Murphy from the Clemson softball team after the break here on the Lowco Diamond Dudes.
Hey, Lowco sports fans. This podcast and all of our grassroots local sports content are made possible by support from community sponsors, including Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of Lowco Sports, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsors are still among our greatest supporters. Ryan and Tiffany Mickelson are community pillars who will be in your corner no matter your legal needs. When you need legal representation, call on the attorneys who support Team Lowco. Call Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports and the only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry have been there to ensure your loved ones find comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life. Because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team provide thorough, detailed home inspections aimed to ensure everyone goes into the transaction with open eyes and confidence. Jan would rather reveal an inconvenient truth than look the other way and provide reassurances that could come back to burn the buyer in the long run. If you're looking to buy or sell a home and need an honest, reliable inspector, call on Homegrown Home Inspections, official sponsors of Lowco Sports. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If your business or organization has a website and you're trying to figure out what SEO is, you need to call on Denise and Dave Sinkovich at DDS Web Design. They'll provide a free consultation and do all the behind-the-scenes work to boost your search engine optimization and get your website found online so you can take your business to the next level. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. American Wood Reface, sustaining sponsors of Lowco Sports. Does your kitchen need a facelift? Before you start picking out new cabinets, give Ben and the team at American Wood Reface a shot. They can reface your existing cabinets to overhaul your aesthetic without the hefty price tag and reimagine your kitchen at a price point you can manage. Be sure to tell them Lowco sent you because every referral helps support Lowco Sports. 4M Metals, sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports. Got metal? Your roof might need it. Metal roofing advantages include better energy efficiency, weather protection, longevity, a more aesthetically pleasing design, and the product is all green. So if you've been thinking about a new roof, go metal. Let 4M Metals be the difference in your roof. Jay's Barbershop. It's the talk of the town and the place to be in Ridgeland. If you need your ears lowered, head over to Jay's for a fresh cut and great conversation with good folks. And tell them Lowco sent you. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling some of the best pies in the Lowco, and my kids say the mac and cheese is the best around. Hungry? Hit up Local Pie, longtime supporter of Lowco Sports.
Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry, the official floor cleaners of lowcosports.com. If your feet tell you your floors need cleaning, call on Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. They provide residential and commercial services, including cleaning carpet and area rugs, tile and grout, upholstery, curtains and drapes, mattresses, and more. But most importantly, they'll get those floors so clean, your feet will thank them. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry.
Hilton Head Prep is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we tell you all about the Dolphins' athletic exploits. But did you know it's also the #1 ranked private K-12 school in Beaufort County and ranks in the top 2.5% of schools nationwide? Visit hhprep.org to see what Hilton Head Prep has to offer. Beaufort Academy is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we love covering the Eagles. With a student-to-faculty ratio of 7-1 and an average class size of 14 students, Beaufort Academy could be just the educational solution you're looking for, with more one-on-one attention. BA has a strong history of working with the whole child to prepare each student for college and life. Check them out at BeaufortAcademy.org. Thank you to all of our sustaining and supporting sponsors for their support of lowcosports.com. Go Lowco.
All right, welcome back to Lowco Diamond Dudes. Justin Jarrett along with Wes Kerr and Ned Mullis, and we have a special guest in the studio joining us now, our old friend Jeannie Murphy. Jeannie, so good to see you. I sent you a text last night to a number I had from years ago, hoping it was you because we wanted to talk with you and catch up with you, and so great to reconnect with you. Jeannie and I worked together at USCB a few years back, and then she got the opportunity to be the softball coach, first softball coach, if I recall correctly, at May River High School. Start that program and set it off in the right direction. And now you are the director of operations for Clemson softball. You guys just had a tremendous season, a great run in the regionals, playing against your alma mater, had them on the ropes, had the Sooners on the ropes. But how you doing? I know you've let the dust settle a little bit now. Tell us how it's going up at Clemson.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. This is pretty big time what you guys have going here. So it's good to see you. Yeah, we made it back from Super Regionals last Sunday. We almost took them to a game 3, which was really exciting. I have a feeling that those are probably the best games that anybody's going to play them, even into the World Series. So I'm kind of putting money on that right now. Not that I can bet that as against the compliance rules.
Easy,
Figuratively speaking.
easy. You get the Alabama memo.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we had a great year. It was a lot of fun. We're just, and as a new program, it's pretty cool to see the fast-paced growth that this, sport has had here at Clemson.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just marveling at that.
yeah.
I mean, just like, holy cow. I mean, here you are going toe to toe with Oklahoma, the prohibitive favorite to win the whole thing, and had them down 3 in the last inning, and they're such a great team. They kept fighting. But what was that like for you? I mean, you played at Oklahoma, so going up against your alma mater and in such a high stakes game had to be an interesting experience, to say the least.
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of crazy. Because I obviously played back in the day, I'm getting old now. And so my years, I was there from 2005 to 2010. And so a lot of our current players here at Clemson, they were like, so this is the field you played on? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, and you played for Coach Gasso? And I was like, yep. And they're like, wow. They're like, this is really weird. It was weird setting. So I don't know if you guys know anything, but they're building a brand new stadium. So those were the last games played at their, it's called Marietta Hines Field. So it was kind of cool, a little surreal, like that it was our team and I was there for some of the final games. So that was a pretty cool moment. It was really neat, but it was really cool to be back and, had some words with Coach Gasso and was able to give her a hug, which was pretty neat. And then I'm also friends with son, who's our head coach, JT Gasso. So I'm really good friends with him. So it was nice just being able to connect. And then a lot of my old teammates from OU still live in the area. So I was able to connect with all of them as well. They came out for the games and it was a lot of fun. And like my husband said, he was like, either way, he's like, you're a winner, no matter what happens.
Absolutely. But what a great experience for you. And just tell me more about the story and the journey of this Clemson softball program getting off the ground, of course, in 2020. Didn't have time to play many games right before the COVID-19 pandemic kind of unfortunately cut that first season short. But you guys came back, got to the NCAA tournament, and then just a spectacular 2023 campaign to hang with arguably one of the, if not the best team in the country in Oklahoma. So really outstanding performance. I mean, just describe the journey so far that this Clemson softball team has had in such a short time. Their rise in such a quick time period, just a couple of years, and how proud you are of what they've already accomplished.
Yeah. So it's just a testament to our amazing coaching staff, our players, our administration. The support that they've given us is incredible. And I give them all the credit. Like you said, 2020, we came out the gates hot and unfortunately we were shut down. And so it was almost like, our players and coaching staff, like we were just chomping at the bit to get back out there in 2021. And, in 2021, we ended up winning the ACC conference championship, which was just that was a great feeling. That first year. It was really cool. And then every year, like, it's just our goal to continue to build on that progress. Like, we don't want to just get hot for one season. It's, hey, we're building something really special here. Like we want to be, I don't want to say just like Oklahoma, but, that's what we're building. We're creating those traditions and we want to be that softball school. And, when we go out and recruit on the road, we want those players, those younger players and generations to know who we are. So they want to be a part of, what we're still building and, what we're creating.
Talk about, since we can get a little local flavor here. Something that kind of hits a little close to home with me, with Wilson being up there working with the baseball team. We got Weeva working with the softball team.
Yeah, I was going to mention
How cool is that for those kids to get to do that?
I ran into her today, actually, and told her I was doing this little interview with you guys. And she was telling me that, He was out there. He's one of the baseball managers. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. Like, I love, bringing people that, especially good people, we love having good people a part of our program. And Olivia Turpin, she's just an amazing person. And she joined us last year, and she was playing softball, and decided that she wanted to kind of hang up the cleats on her own. And I talked to her and her dad and was like, hey, we're looking for a manager position, and she is incredible at what she does, and she loves it. Like, they're treated part of our team, and they come to practice every day. The stuff that they do day in and day out, sometimes it's a thankless job, even though we do thank them all the time, but it's a lot of work, and but they're just so much fun. Like, and then during the games, we have a total of 3 managers, and they just let loose in the dugout. Like, there's no holding back for them.
They're the hype people, right?
They sure are.
I try to tell all the kids around, there's so many more avenues that you can look at. It's not, Wilson had some opportunities to go play at smaller college. Sometimes your books outrun your baseball or softball. But there's, the stuff you can do when you're there, and it's just been great. I saw that atmosphere. I was up when y'all had the regionals. We were over watching them play UNC. Unbelievable atmosphere up there. I mean, if you get a chance to go, folks, I mean, I don't tell you to call Jeannie, though, because you're probably the most popular person in town.
Everybody wants tickets.
Can you believe it's standing room only? They got a hill out there how many people are on that hill?
Yeah, so they just did an expansion because after our very first year, once COVID kind of was over and they, were allowing stadiums to be at full capacity, every game was sold out.
It's amazing.
We're one of the only female sports that's revenue making here, so it's really exciting for the female.
What's that place hold?
So we have about 2,100 chairback seats, but then the berm can hold probably another 1,000 or 2,000.
It looked like there were 4,000 or 5,000 people in there.
Yeah. I think we capped about 4,000 for one of our regional games, which again was sold out. Like, you couldn't even walk up and buy a ticket. People were selling tickets on StubHub for like $180. Like, it was crazy.
Well, you could put it this way: if you were in the baseball stadium, who's the pitcher, the lefty? What's her name?
Millie Thompson.
Huh?
Millie Thompson.
Or no, the girl that hits so good. What's her
name?
name?
Valerie Cagle.
Yeah, Cagle.
You
took player of the year, right?
You took my next question from me. You took my next question from me. I was just gonna, you guys have had such a great program in such a short time, but Valerie Cagle has been just an unbelievable talent and made history with a perfect game. How special has she been? How special was that moment to you in this program?
Yeah, she is truly a special athlete. Like, she is just one of a kind. The fact that, she pitches, she can hit, she plays defense as well. She can do it all. And, what's really cool about her is like her personality. She always wants more. And, she's always trying to perfect her craft. So she is just constantly working and trying to get better. And sometimes like these goals aren't even really her goals. Like, they just, they happen for good fortune because of all of her hard work and just how good she is. But, we're lucky to have her back for one more year. And, she's going to be a great leader for this team. I'm excited for some of our incoming freshmen to kind of go underneath her wing and just, hopefully we can start filling some of those shoes.
Well, she hit a home run against Auburn. And you didn't even have to – you knew who hit it at the baseball field. You know what I'm saying? And then you could hear the announcer because, I mean, it was like a Masters type cheer. When you know what I'm saying? It was just reverberate. It's such a cool thing that they have when they have baseball and softball going together. And because, I mean, it was like both stadiums were cheering for her.
Yeah, we try not to overlap our games.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do a whole lot of parking.
Yeah, well, they want, to make sure that everyone goes to baseball and everyone goes to softball, and because we have a lot of the same season ticket holders, so they don't want to make them choose. So we just were kind of at their mercy with ESPN though with our game times for regionals. But I do know like a lot of the baseball fans, like they know who Valerie Cagle is, and like she can't even walk in a grocery store without people just coming up to her. I mean, she's like a famous celebrity now.
Her parents, Coach Schmidt and I went up that week, and we just happenstance parked by this huge RV from Virginia and didn't think nothing else about it. Went to the baseball game, but when we came out, we ended up tailgating some with their parents. What great, good people. I mean, it's so cool, man. They've got a little bit of a football type atmosphere up there around baseball and softball now with the RVs and stuff. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have you seen that excitement start to filter down to the high school programs in the upstate, in that area? Because, just looking at your roster, I think there's one girl from South Carolina and everybody else is out of state, which speaks to the profile you guys have built for the program in such a short time, but also maybe says something about high school softball in South Carolina. And I'm just curious about what the deficit is there for us and what we have to do to make it up and have more players that are, ready to go play at Clemson, what has become the premier program in the state.
Hey, yeah, it's just, that's a tough question. It really is.
I can answer that right now. If you want to play in the top, if you want to go if you want to go play Oklahoma, you got to get the best players. It don't matter where you're from.
And I'm not dogging Clemson for recruiting outside of the state. I'm just saying, what's that say about South Carolina high school softball, and what do we have to do to get to that level? Yeah,
I do think South Carolina high school is behind, and even a little bit of their travel ball programs. They're just not at the same caliber of some of the other states. Especially because I kind of coached at the high school level for a couple years, and I think it's going to take a while to change, and I think some of the parents need to get on board first. To be honest.
That's who we're talking to as much as anyone right here. I mean, we like to kind of demystify it a little bit for folks.
They don't know exactly what it takes to be at this level. And, so I think when I came in there and I was coaching at the high school at May River for a while, it was kind of eye-opening to some people. And, they thought practices were maybe too hard or, whatever it may be. But, these parents just don't realize what all it really takes to be at this level.
Well, we mentioned
Valerie Cagle. She was just named the 2023 USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year. So fantastic season for her and for this Clemson team. But I want to hear a little more about your time here in the Lowcountry, your time at USCB, and then coming over to really kickstart your coaching career at May River. So kind of what sparked you to pick up that program and bring it to a solid level that it was when you left it, and just what you learned from that experience coaching at high school ranks before moving on to the NCAA level.
Well, I'll clarify that Jeannie already had quite a NCAA coaching career before she came to USCB to take a break from coaching softball, and then found out she wanted to coach softball again. So as we often do, but no, she had quite a pedigree at Northern Colorado before she came to USCB. But you can talk more about that.
Yeah. So I coached at Northern Colorado for about 3 years, and then I actually coached at Louisiana Tech University for 4 years. And, just like Justin said, it was one of those I needed to take a step away. And so we moved to Bluffton. I kind of sought out USCB. I thought originally I wanted to coach there, and then they had an opening for, I don't even know what the job title was. I did a little bit of academics and compliance and something like that at USB, and I really loved the school, and thought maybe that I wanted to filter into coaching at maybe the NAIA level. Just I like kind of what the NAIA level brings, in the sense that's different from Division I, is it's not always about winning, but you get to pour into the student athletes a little bit more as a person. And that really intrigued me. But they had a great softball coach at the time, Laura Heberlein, and she's
now at Maryland.
Yes, which is with this is how weird the softball world is. So she's with the head coach that I was with at Louisiana Tech.
Right.
So when she was applying for that job, he called me and he was like, "Tell me about Laura. What do you know about her?" So it's,
She's
it's like one of those
fantastic.
full circle moments. It's really cool. And then, I started missing softball when I was there at USCB. So I started doing some lessons in the area and kind of realized like how far behind South Carolina, they really were. And there really wasn't anybody doing lessons in the area. And then I met Sean Gleason, who, had kind of been a part of a travel ball organization, had two daughters who, one is still currently playing at the Division I level at James Madison.
Right.
And I got connected with him, and he's the one who kind of told me that May River was hiring a high school coach, and asked if I had any desire to do that. And I was like, well, I guess so. So I've never coached high school before, but I will never do that again.
Lessons learned.
Mark my words. They say never say never. I will never coach high school again. So that won't happen.
You don't have three managers.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, it was Coach Gleason who told me that Clemson was starting a program, and I honestly didn't even understand. Like, I didn't know Clemson didn't have a softball program at the time. And he told me they were hiring assistant coaches, and I was like, I'm not sure I want to be back at the college level. Like, just it's a grind, at this, Division I level. So I was like, I don't know. And then like a week later, he comes back to me and he said, hey, they're hiring a director of ops. And he basically, said, if you don't, apply for this position, you're an idiot. I was like, well, if anybody knows Sean Gleason, like, he's a matter of fact guy, and I appreciate that. So, I said, okay. So I went and applied, and then basically had an interview, and the rest is history.
Very good. Well, obviously it's working out really well for you, and certainly it's funny how life works out. But I'm sure that the things that became your role at USCB and that kind of nebulous role have really aided you in that ops role, where you've got a little bit more administrative responsibilities and things like that, starting to understand how things work from the other side and things like that. So awesome stuff. But how are you and Matt doing? How is life up at Clemson?
Oh, it's wonderful. We had a little baby boy. I don't know if you guys knew that. So he's just turned 1 this late spring. So it's such a cool atmosphere to raise a little boy, taking him to all the sporting events and the football games. And like, he's spoiled. He thinks hanging around 25 ladies all the time is going to be the normal. So, but we're great. We moved on the lake, and we're a little ways out from Clemson, but we're on the lake and on the water, and just enjoying life.
How blessed and special has it been to be a part of this Clemson family? I mean, we've seen the athletic excellence throughout the sports throughout the Clemson throughout the years, but just to be a big part of this and to work your way to this point and to be a part of the rise of this program, just reflect how special this time has been, how excited you are for what could be in store in the future.
Oh, yeah. Just so blessed, really. Someone told me when I first moved here, they're like, have you drank the water yet? And I was like, what do you mean by that? And, they said, well, if you drink the water, you're never going to leave. And I think I'm going into my 6th year now, and that's the longest I've been at a university. And that's the testament to Clemson. And I love it. The people around here are great. We're supported, and that's a really good feeling. So they know how to hang on to their employees. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, Brad's been there for baseball. What, 15 probably?
I was going to say 12 or 13 maybe.
Yeah, he's been there a while. I'll tell you something Coach Lee told me when he went to Clemson was he was used to going in at the College of Charleston. He'd go in early and work out. He'd be, he'd get there at 6 o'clock or so, and he's, 6:30. He'd get there early, and he was like, I was the first guy there. I was opening the building up. He said, when you get to Clemson, you're not the first guy there. He said everybody works hard up there. And he was like, it was just, he said the family atmosphere and everything. Like I said, the operations department up there with Mike Eccles, good friend of mine, the field guy. I mean, you don't get better people. You just don't get better people.
Yeah. Mike's been around here for a long time. He does art too.
Mike's pushing 30 years. So,
yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's good.
He always yells
he
at
might be the best in the country, literally.
Well, I don't have a dog in the hunt as far as the Clemson versus Carolina thing, but certainly.
Oh, how good was that game on a weeknight walk off?
Oh,
I mean,
oh boy.
Oh yeah, that game was probably one of our favorites. Our girls, it's like very personal when we play them, and we play them one game here, and then we play them one game at their place, and I think eventually we may get to a 3-game series, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, playing South Carolina, that's always a good time.
Cagle hits a 3-run shot in the 7th. And dude, it's on ESPN, whatever. The lights are terrible. I mean, it was, oh my God. My wife is in here talking smack. She's a South Carolina fan.
I'm sorry.
And then she oppos a rocket out of that place. And then y'all held on. So, yeah. But we were talking earlier, South Carolina, they're up and coming. They're going to be good.
Yeah, they started off a little rocky this year, but they finished pretty hot this season. Their one pitcher, she was a stud.
Mm-hmm. Coach, describe me about the atmosphere, the excitement heading into this Clemson regional this week on the baseball side.
Oh man, this parking lot is packed out here
already.
Yeah, I just walked in and.
But the problem is, it's a different shade of orange. I hear.
Yep, Tennessee was practicing actually. So I'm excited because I actually have only been to like one baseball game because of our conflicting schedules.
Right.
And they always try to play at home when we're away and vice versa. And then since I've been hired, they really haven't made a ton of postseason appearances. So like their seasons have, season was done, by the time we were done playing. So I'm pumped. I'm going to go to a couple games this weekend and I'm excited, really excited for them and their program.
Get by that Cajun Cafe. I highly recommend it.
Someone has told me about the Cajun Cafe and that we need to start one over on the softball side. So if there's anybody out there who's listening and they want to, strike this up.
And take another trip to the Smoking Pig. I've always heard good.
Oh my gosh. Now you guys are making me hungry.
Well, I'm already hungry, so and we are about out of time. So thanks so much, Jeannie, for jumping on with us. It was great to reconnect with you and to hear about all the success you're having up at Clemson. And we wish you well going into next season. Should be a special year for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I'll be up hopefully in 2 weeks.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Jeannie Murphy. And fellas, great to catch up with her. She was awesome. Just awesome to work with at USCB and did a great job getting that Mid-River softball program started.
Let me give you one quick thing about Jeannie. I saw that first softball practice. And I walked over to Coach Stewart and I said, partner, I don't know if they're going to win 1 or 100, but that coach is the real deal.
Yeah.
She coaches her ass off. I mean, dude, you want to talk about somebody who knows a game. She knows a game and she's enthusiastic and gets after it. And I mean, it was just such it was, I'm sure it was eye-opening for most people. And anybody that knows Sean's driven Gleason.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd seen a real college staff coach good high school players. Mm-hmm. And, I kind of felt like that. We had that with Starks and Schmidt at one time, because both those guys had coached in college or played, Starks didn't coach in college, but Coach Schmidt did. And it was just so much different than anything you were used to.
Yeah. And it's special when you see a really elite coach work.
Oh my gosh. And she had, Sean's older daughter was there, and she was the goods. And it was
Kylie. Is that right? Kylie?
No, Kylie's the younger one.
Oh, the older daughter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. And I remember taking her. We'd be doing BP, and once a year I would always bring her over and let her take a round with our guys, and she would have hit second in the middle of the lineup for us.
Yeah. No question.
You know, I mean, I'd have loved to have done that. I should have done that with Lang this year.
Yeah.
The parents need to know that, hey, these softball girls, it's easier to hit that baseball than it is that softball. I promise you.
Well, for one, they're so close. You can't see that thing till it's coming out of the hand, and it goes all 4 directions.
Oh, it'll go up. I sent you the thing on Pujols the other day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Google Albert Pujols and Jenny
Finch just blew him away. It wasn't even.
And he's swinging with a softball bat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no excuses.
I'm telling you, man, you watch those girls, you want to talk about staying short and quick to the ball. A great softball.
And I said something else today, Wes, we were talking about earlier about, you know, there's ball players around here.
Yes.
How good an athlete are you?
Yep.
When Valerie Cagle walks up, that's a Division I athlete.
Yep.
I mean, that is she, you know, you can just tell. I mean, it just
looks the part. You'll know. Yeah. You'll know when you see that.
You know when you see it.
We're not getting. Y'all were talking about the state and stuff like that. I haven't seen that. You know, I hadn't seen a 5'11", you know, just where you just, like Wes said, you just know. And, I mean, they're there. I mean, watch that Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, watch the Midwest, you know, just women's sports in general. You know, I have a soft spot for women's sports all the time because of my wife playing basketball. But, you know, has anybody read about, and I'm rambling again, but how about the thing in Nebraska with volleyball? Have y'all seen that? They have sold out the football arena for a football stadium for a women's volleyball game.
Nebraska women's volleyball. I mean, I was at Mizzou when we were in the Big 12, and Nebraska women's volleyball.
But I mean, you're talking 100,000 people for a volleyball game. How cool
and now they're in the Big 10, where volleyball is much bigger. So
one thing I wanted to ask Jeannie: did y'all get a chance to watch any of that regional?
I watched most of that game that they were up 7.
That first at bat when that girl hit that home run off Cagle.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a more intense environment in a sporting event?
Dude, it is something else. I enjoyed the heck out of coaching little girls softball this year, and I'm excited to kind of grow with that sport because I always enjoyed covering USCB softball too.
But you know, that's the one thing about that softball, boy. Don't blink.
No.
That 7-inning game goes quick, baby.
It sure does. They get a lot of soft contact. Well, not even all soft. They get a lot of balls in play, and the defense is compact on that field, and they make a lot of plays.
You know, that's high school, and that's another thing, you know, the kids don't – since it's a baseball podcast, one of the things the baseball, you know, our kids, you know, 9 out of 10 kids that go play college baseball right now have never played a 9-inning baseball game.
Yeah, it's true.
First 9-inning game I ever played was American Legion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and there ain't no more Legion ball around.
I miss Legion ball, man.
First time I ever wore spikes was in a Legion game. Right. You know, I mean, it was National League rules back in the day.
We don't even play 9 in the Beaufort Adult Baseball League. We only play 7.
I mean, hey, let me tell you what they call those last couple innings. That's the championship rounds.
That's right.
You know, I mean, that's where that 8th and 9th is a different animal.
That's where the men separate from the boys, right?
That's a fact.
All right, fellas. Well, we're past an hour. We're out of season, and we still managed to fill up.
I got one more thing. So. I got the high school league. The final polls came out, and Beaufort was 5.
Number
6, 5 or 6, one of the two. But
well, I mean, they were an eyelash away.
No, they were 5. I felt like that's, you know, I told y'all I thought we were overrated, but the Beaufort was underrated. Like they should have been ranked early. James Island ended up 8th. I mean, geez, are there 7 better teams than those guys? Greer wasn't even ranked, and I saw Greer, and that was a good high school baseball team. So the depth in high school baseball in this state right now is deep.
So much
It's
parity.
crazy.
I mean, you look at how these playoffs finished. I mean, you have so many close competitive games. You don't really see that across all of the sports. But I just think when you look at parity and the difference between these, I think baseball, you see it as the closest. I
Well,
just think
JB was in town the other day, and he had seen Catawba Ridge, and they won 4A, and he said they had 3 legitimate D1 arms. So he didn't say where they were going, but he said they were legitimate arms. So, boys, I could do this all day.
Yes, sir, and we'll do it again real soon. Next week or two, we'll get another one out there. But thanks so much, fellas, for sitting and talking baseball and softball with me. It was a good time. Thanks so much to Jeannie Murphy for jumping in to talk with us. Great to catch up with her. And thanks to all of our sponsors who make it possible, as well as those who show up to listen or watch. We do it for you guys, and we'll do it again real soon. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Lowco Diamond Dudes. So until next time, for Wes Kerr and Ned Mullis, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Lowco.